Some of the most remarkable people in this world don't appear on movie screens or in sports arenas. They work in offices, study in classrooms, and raise families at home. They're just ordinary people like you and I. Ordinary people who happen to have experienced something extraordinary and survived. Off the Map is a travel television series I directed and shot over a 12-year period. Unlike most explorer stories, these modern travelers are women. Ordinary women who agreed to be filmed taking journeys to extraordinary places. On my Egypt program, I was joined by my female host, Jonah. From Cairo, our intent was to explore the Sinai.
I landed in the capital city of Cairo, where I met my guide Hani, and learned that I would be traveling by Land Rover into the heart of the desert.
It's an ancient truck because of the descriptions that was done by the people used to pass from here on their pilgrim routes from Egypt to Jerusalem and Mecca. We could find Hebrew, Latin, Greek descriptions on this truck.
After following the ancient route to Mecca, Hani and I traveled to the Colored Canyon, which is known for its colorful rock formations. The Colored Canyon is also a place rich in religious history. In fact, it is where some of the followers of Moses rebelled against him and fled into the desert.
As I did in all programs, I used a stop and start style of directing.
Walking through the canyon made me wonder how long it must have taken for the forces of nature to carve such deep channels into the rock.
Often I would frame a beautiful landscape and have my characters walk through that landscape.
This mountain over there.
Oh yeah?
Actually, it's the widest mountain in the middle of Sinai, and it's called El Tih Mountain. And the reason we call it this name is that Moses and his people, when they were passing from Sinai to Jerusalem, they refused actually to proceed with Moses, so they got lost about 40 years.
40 years?
Yeah.
To pick up a conversation at a distance, I used wireless microphones.
The passage gets tiny sometimes to the extent that it takes one person to pass.
There's little caves in the rock too.
Alright, this is, you're gonna have to jump.
Okay.
Actually, right?
It was physically challenging to move through some of the rock formations. The little tree was the only form of vegetation that we saw. The rest was just sand and rock.
Look at this little tree in the mountain.
Are there a lot of little trees like this around here?
Oh, yeah, a few of them actually, but this is, one of the biggest here.
Yeah.
It grows actually inside the rock, and it gets the water from the cracks in the mountain itself.
The water banks when it rains?
Yeah, when it rains, it goes through the cracks and it banks inside. So this is how it gets the water in winter.
Basically, I'd set up each scene, have my talent walk into the scene. I'd tell them where to stand, what direction to face. Like a combination of free flow documentary and a drama.
And you can see how beautiful the colors are matching together, and the variety of it. It has black, red, yellow, brown, white, and it's actually matches with the green bush over there. and it makes very much contrasts of a beautiful painting, I guess.
It is beautiful. Once we finished exploring the Colored Canyon, we got into the Land Rover and continued on our adventure through the desert. Hani told me about a camel market that was just outside Cairo. The local Bedouin brought camels that they hoped to sell.
وبعدين كده غلط عشان كده بكذا وده بكذا بعنا وخلاص ما رضوش تاخدوه يا حاج طيب ما رضوش ياخدوا يا حاج اهو.
In the camel market, Jonah expresses her first concern.
There were hundreds of camels coming and going, some being sold and traded for transportation or tourism, but mostly they were sold for their meat. It was a little upsetting for me to think of the fate of these poor animals, but I realize it is just part of the Bedouin way of life. The camels were hobbled, which seemed cruel too, but I realized that it was the only way for them to control the camels and prevent them from escaping.
Although she might not agree, Jonah is aware of the Bedouin point of view.
So where do all these camels come from?
They come from Sudan through the western deserts.
Do they ride the camels, or are they shipped in trucks?
No, the camel guides actually, they walk next to the camels.
But they walk from Sudan to Aswan.
Oh yeah,
It's a long trip.
They walk about 40 days, and you could see easily the skeletons of the camels. It's amazing. It's like a camel graveyard.
Wow.
Yeah.
We met one of the men selling camels.
السلام عليكم.
سلام منورين.
ازيك يا حاج؟
الباشا.
Salam alaikum.
كويس سلام.
Hello.
الحمد لله. كويس يعني.
هو ده الموسم ولا؟
الواحد في اللي بيجي كل اسبوع في اللي بيجي كل شهر كل شهرين يعني هي كل شهر بتمشي.
وانت منين؟ من النوبة ولا
أسوان.
من أسوان.
أسوان.
He's talking about the season of the camels that they bring from Sudan to here. So it's actually the beginning of the season, he's saying.
How many camels do you have here today at the market?
جمال.
كم عددهم؟
يعني في اليوم بتجي 500 تطلع ممكن تجي 1000 تتباع فيها 400 وتقعد ثاني يوم تتباع فيها 100 يعني كل يوم
Sometimes they get
السوق ماشي يومي
between 400 up till 600-700 daily sometimes.
Daily.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of camels.
شبه حاجة
شكرا.
لا ولا حاجة
وكملت على الفرد.
ماشي شبه حاجة شبه حاجة.
The hustle and bustle of the camel market was overwhelming. I looked forward to returning to our journey across the desert. One of my favorite parts of my time spent in Egypt was driving through the desert. It was surreal for me, passing wild camels and their dried bones. The odd Bedouin desert dweller in the middle of nowhere, really. It amazed me that anything could live in such a barren and hostile environment. After driving all day through the desert, we stopped at the Hydra Oasis before the sun went down. As we approached the oasis where the Bedouin live, we came across a little girl selling jewelry.
See this little Bedouin girl?
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum. ازيك؟ This is Joanna. ازيك عاملة ايه؟
Her name was Teresa, and she helped support her family by selling bracelets.
وريني كده. هي عايز تتفرج عليهم؟
How old are you?
عندي كام سنة؟
11.
And she's 11 years old. Okay. Try this.
Teresa lived at the oasis with her family in a traditional Bedouin tent.
You usually did how many pieces you want?
I'm gonna get
Oh, pick up 2.
5.
وخمسة ايه؟
5 جنيه.
مش كتير؟
What'd she say?
She said it costs £5.
Okay.
This one is
I
good?
thought £5 was a little steep, but she was quite sweet, so I didn't mind giving it to her.
Good. Look at the way she ties it. Yeah.
Thank you, that's perfect.
Say shukran.
Shukran.
See this oasis, it's called Ain Hydra. And the name actually, some people call it Ain Khudra, and some people call it Ain Hydra.
And what does it mean, do you know?
And Ain, it means a spring. So Ain Hydra, it means the spring of Hydra. The people that they live here, of course, the traditional or the typical Sinai Bedouins, they enjoy, they cultivate some of plants here for eat, plus the goats that they have here. And this is it.
Hani had arranged for us to spend the night with one of the local Bedouin. After the sun went down, it got cold very quickly. I looked forward to the next day's journey to the Red Sea. We set off for the coast early in the morning and drove for several hours. On the coast of the Red Sea, Hani and I came across a Bedouin village. Their huts are built from driftwood and scraps washed up from shipwrecks. They are enough to protect the people from the sun and wind of the beach that is their home. So tell me about the tribes around here.
There was actually about 8 tribes of Bedouins that live here. Each of the tribe has its own leader. Mainly in the coastline, some of them just deep down the deserts.
One of the local Bedouins was kind enough to invite us to his home for tea.
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum. His name was Ali. He was a little better off than the other Bedouin we spent the night with. He not only had a house by the sea, but one in town as well. Is this your house, Ali?
Yeah. So he's gonna make it some tea.
Thank you. So we have a fire right here in the house.
Oh yeah, he makes the fire out of the wood.
And you have the herbs in there right now?
حطت الحبق جوه عالية بس
مية بس.
No, just
Just the water.
Just
heating the
water.
water. Have you always lived in this
عايش
village?
طول عمرك هنا?
والله هنا وفي الشرق بس أكثر الوقت هنا.
Yeah, he lives here regularly and sometimes occasionally they drop by Sharm el-Sheikh and other towns for the business. Oh! Here's our little goats.
Oh.
Still, عمرها قد إيه علي؟ 3 days old.
No. Do you live here with your whole family?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, it's me now with my family, mommy and father.
Right. But you all live here in the village?
Me and I have another house in Dahab.
Oh, in Dahab.
معي حرمة متجوز في دهب.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
بس he take another woman.
Right.
He has another a woman he's married to.
Oh, yes?
In Dahab. Yes, so he has 2 houses actually.
So this is your summer home, maybe? Tea is a very social event for the Bedouin. Every time someone enters the house, they offer you tea. That's
Yeah,
Ooh, sugar. It's a lot of sugar.
yeah.
خفيف كذا بس. بالنسبة له سكر خفيف كذا بس بالنسبة لك.
Yes, it's tasty. It's beautiful.
Oh, I think the goat wants some.
Taste it?
Oh, I was going to wait for you guys. Oh, yeah. That's
Beautiful,
nice. Nice. It's sweet.
Bedouin house, they offer you coffee or tea,
Yeah.
and then they keep making a coffee or a tea until you say shukran or you stop, and then they have this special habit. If you want more, you just put it like this. That means you want more
Right.
coffee or tea.
Yeah.
And if you don't want any more, you just
give it a little shake?
Yeah, you shake your glass. That means you
I've
don't
had
want
enough.
any more. And you say shukran.
Thank you for having us in your home, Ali.
I was very moved by the hospitality of Ali and the others in the village.
Thank you. Shukran.
Our next stop would be Mount Sinai. The next day we went to Mount Sinai. This is supposedly where Moses went up the mountain with the 2 stone tablets and received the 10 commandments from God. It is a very holy site, rich in religious history. It wasn't so difficult making the trek up the mountain as it was constant. It was incredible to be in a place of such history, following the path of Moses and standing on such holy ground as Mount Sinai. At first I was concerned whether or not I could climb to the top, not so much because of the grade, but because of the heat. Slowly, I gained greater confidence as we grew closer to the top. It wasn't all that steep until the end, of course. Then I'll admit I got tired climbing those steps. When we got to the top, the other mountain peaks all around us went on forever. Looking out at the view, I could feel the spirituality of the place and the rock under my feet and the air around me.
Okay, here we're on the top of Moses Mountain, and you can see the rest of Sinai Mountains as well from here. This is actually the second highest mountain after St. Catherine Mountains behind us.
And this is all a part of the same mountain here?
Oh yeah.
Mount Moses. Moses Mountain.
Yeah, Moses Mountain. And as you see, it's a rocky mountain, and actually it had a name of the rocky land. I mean, one of the ancient name that Sinai had before. It's the rocky land, they used to call it, and the pharaohs used to call it Tushoyit. This is one of the ancient names of Sinai.
Tushoyit.
Yeah, and the Hebrews call Sinai the scene, and it comes from the moon. The word scene, it means the moon. So it had actually many different names during the Greeks actually as well, and the Arabs, and then it became Sinai Peninsula. Front of you is the direction of the Mediterranean, which is a north direction. On the left, this is the Gulf of the Red Sea, and on the right side is the Gulf of Aqaba on the Red Sea as well. And you can see how beautiful the mountain, okay, and the St. Catherine Monastery, it's over there ahead of us, down to the valley.
The bottom of the mountain when we descend.
Yeah, when we started ascending.
I was honored to have visited such a holy place, to actually stand where Moses received the 10 Commandments. After climbing down the mountain, I was still in awe of the sheer beauty of the landscape around me. There was just too much to be seen and explored. The view of the mountains at sunrise from the valley was so inspiring. At that moment, I felt like a little speck on the map. The whole experience was quite humbling. It was time to return to the city and fly home. I had learned so much from the people who inhabited the desert, but I couldn't leave without seeing the pyramids. Finally standing before the great pyramids of Giza, I thought of many things. Hidden tombs, the legend of King Tut, the lives of the pharaohs. contemplated the mystery of the actual building of the massive structures and wondered about the ancient secrets that they would hold forever. Most people associate Egypt with the pyramids. But to my surprise, I found that, for me, the time spent in the desert was the most interesting and fulfilling. Traveling truly opens up a world of adventure for me. It's more than simply viewing life through a new perspective. I try to embrace the cultural changes and differences that traveling to new places offers. That is sometimes a challenge, but it is always interesting.